welcome to Asian Pulse Television. I'm your host Manvi Randhava, and I thank you all for turning your TV and getting online to attend this informative and educational network. We are broadcasting from the unceded territories of Siemiamu First Nation, Katsi, and Kwantlen First Nation. So to begin this bulletin, I would like to tell you that January is known for Alzheimer's Awareness Month. Memory loss disrupts daily life, and it may be a symptom of Alzheimer's, which is another word for dementia. Alzheimer's is a brain disease that causes a slow decline in memory. Alzheimer has no cure, but there are two treatments that just reduce cognitive and functional decline in people living with early Alzheimer's. Pink Shirt Day, which is observed on February 28th in Canada. It is a day that was declared by United Nations on May 4th as Anti-Bullying Day. Now, the last Wednesday of each February is Canada's National Pink Shirt Day, also known as Anti-Bullying Day. Many countries now recognize the specific days for raising awareness about the prevention of bullying and promoting kindness and inclusion. So, you get your pink shirt today, wear it, and say no to bullying. Even though BC government has introduced bill to ban illicit drug use in many public places, but it is still very common practice. The numbers that came from BC Chief Coroner's Lisa Lepointe's office says that we have lost over 2,500 people in 2023 due to illicit drugs. And most of the drug that was found, 70% was fentanyl. In all the bad news is something that we all look for and is a good news is a relief that came as a relief from BC government. BC is restricting the use of cell phones in schools across the province. The province is also launching services starting Monday to help remove images from the internet and pursue these predators, which will build legislation passed in 2023. The provincial government will also supply educational tools to families and children on internet safety. So this ban or this restriction is to safeguard young kids to fall prey to internet crimes like identity theft, explicit images, and whatnot. It's time for a short break. I will be right back after we hear some words from our sponsors.
I understand how important it is to have a place called home, and it's frustrating using your hard-earned money on rent. Vic Prasad can make you a homeowner. Get pre-approved services provided to first-time buyers and new immigrants. You can qualify for mortgage even if you have bad credit. Call Vic Prasad now on 604-306-6647. Vic Prasad is associated with Craft Mortgages Canada Incorporated. I understand how important it is to have a place called home, and it's frustrating using your hard-earned money on rent. Vic Prasad can make you a homeowner. Get pre-approved services provided to first-time buyers and new immigrants. You can qualify for mortgage even if you have bad credit. Call Vic Prasad now on 604-306-6647. Vic Prasad is associated with Craft Mortgages.
This is HSBC Vancouver Sevens. World-class rugby. Electrifying atmosphere. Pulse-pumping partying. February 23rd to 25th. Get your tickets now at van7s.com.
For any kind of visa-related services, contact Milky Way Immigration, a galaxy of opportunities located at Unit 209-9547 152 Street, Surrey, BC. They have licensed immigration consultants, placement officers, and LMIA experts to meet your immigration and recruitment needs. Book one-time free consultation either on Facebook or by calling 604-396-0005. Bollywood Banquet Hall and Conference Center, located at Pyle Business Center at 201-8166 128th Street in Surrey.
Hello and welcome to Asian Pulse. Yes, you are watching Asian Pulse today. And today we're going to be talking about something as the new year starts, we all make plans. And every time we make plans about eating healthy and going to the gym, but part of that also we make a plan how to manage the money. Because since everything is getting more and more expensive, we need to put a cap of how we spend our money. And this is also RRSP time. So we have invited Mr. Sashi Singh into our studios, and he is a financial advisor and insurance advisor. And he's here to talk about RRSPs and as the end of the month, if you're buying RRSP, this month is the month to be able to do that, right?
Yes,
Correct?
that is
Yeah.
correct.
So thank you so much for coming in such a short notice, because I think it's a very important that our viewers know RRSP and saving money for your future.
Thank you, Camilla. Once again, it's my distinct privilege to be a part of this conversation. And yes, you're absolutely right. Financial planning and using the tools that the government and CRA has accorded us, using those tools efficiently can make or have an incredible impact in our financial plans and financial stability and financial security. And as you referenced, this is the month of February is the final month for RRSP contributions. So this is a good time for us to have a discussion about that.
Right, right. So how long have you been doing this work?
Oh gosh, it's approaching 40 years now, Camilla.
Wow.
It's been a long time.
Long time, yeah.
Yes.
So let's talk a little bit about why, I mean, like people invest, people buy stocks, bond, buy homes, another property, go on vacation. Why you think that we should be thinking about retirement saving plan? Why is that so important? If you have money, you might as well spend the money, do whatever you want, right?
True. That's a contrarian point of view, but I won't push back on that. But Camilla, this is financial planning is such a vast topic, and there are so many moving parts. So I think if it's okay with you, maybe I can just basically, and there's always a disclaimer that we're having a conversation,
Yes.
and a very broad, generic conversation.
Yes.
There are a lot of intricacies and details,
Yeah.
and if anybody wants specific information for their specific situation, then we can consult tax accountants
Yeah.
as well as lawyers,
Yeah.
or we can, or even myself and other financial advisors, where we can sit down and look at the microscope their actual situation. But RRSPs, Registered Retirement Savings Plan, it's a tool that CRA has given us to do two things. One is to accumulate on a tax-deferred basis money for our retirement,
Yeah.
primarily for our retirement purposes. And what makes it much more worthwhile is the ability to reduce your taxable income with your contributions, and consequently the taxes you pay are reduced as well on a marginal tax basis.
Yeah.
So RRSPs are good for two reasons. One, we pay less in taxes, and secondly, we can defer taxes while this money compounds on a tax-deferred basis for your retirement purposes. So it's a tool that may not be the right tool for every situation, but generally speaking, RRSPs, they were started in 1957, I think approximately,
Yeah.
and since that time, for about 66, 67 years now, it's become a staple for financial planning and long-term investments for Canadians.
What is the difference then between RRSP and TFSA?
That's a very good question, Camila. So, as I mentioned to you, RRSPs afford you a deduction
Yeah.
to reduce your income taxes.
Yeah.
With TFSAs, we don't have that privilege. So, for example, if you contribute, let's just say, hypothetically speaking, $5,000 into a tax-free savings account, that $5,000 contribution cannot be used as a deduction against your income.
All right.
However, the accumulation on that $5,000, so let's assume for a minute that if you invested that $5,000 into a mutual fund, And in 5 years, that mutual fund did really well, and now it's worth $10,000. The $5,000 gain that you've had, that is completely tax-free, not tax-deferred, completely tax-free. So hence, tax-free savings account.
Yeah.
And tax-free savings account, you may, just earlier I mentioned that RRSPs may not be the panacea or the solution for everybody's financial situation. Hence, the government added another tool so that if RRSPs are not the vehicle that gets you to financial independence and retirement, then tax-free savings accounts may. Or they could both work in conjunction with each other. And recently, government has also introduced a program known as a First Home Savings Account, FHSA. And that's also an exceptionally viable option for people wanting to purchase their first home. A very, very effective tool to be able to accumulate money for that purpose, to purchase a home.
That's good. That's excellent. This is the first time I'm hearing that, because there are so many other ways you won't be able to save money to put the down payment. Because without down payment,
Yes.
if you don't have that down payment for the purchase of the house, it doesn't matter.
Right.
How much money you are making didn't matter. Or you might qualify for the mortgage, but still have to come with the down payment.
Yes, correct. So, Camilla, since we have a limited amount of time, I'll just elaborate a little bit more on the First Home Savings Account.
Okay.
And
Sure.
then we'll go back into the RRSP discussion.
Yeah.
Because that's, for this month, RRSP
Yeah.
seems to be
Yeah.
something that we should just encourage our viewers
Yeah.
to look into.
Yeah.
So First Home Savings Account gives you the best of RRSPs and the best of TFSAs. So first, the annual contribution, the maximum annual contribution is $8,000,
Okay.
and the maximum lifetime contribution is $40,000.
Okay.
So in other words, one can contribute $8,000 for 5 years to reach their maximum. Now here's what makes it really, really effective. The $8,000 that you contribute, that is, like an RRSP, a tax deduction investment.
Oh, okay.
Now, furthermore, let's assume that that $40,000 that you've contributed over 5 years grows to $50,000.
Yeah.
Now, that $10,000 gain, like a TFSA, is completely tax-free.
Oh, okay.
So, I would strongly urge everyone, especially the young generation, to seriously look at the First Home Savings Account as an option to fund purchase for real estate in the future. And RRSPs also have a provision. If you have an existing RRSP, there is a provision where it's called the Home Buyers Plan, where you can withdraw $35,000 from an RRSP towards the purchase of a first home. So in other words, let's just say if somebody is 25 years young, in 5 years they'll be 30 years old, and they've contributed $40,000 into their first home savings account. That $40,000 plus its growth, let's assume it's
Yeah,
$10,000,
yeah.
$50,000, plus the $35,000 you can withdraw from your RRSP, and now you've got $85,000 as an example
Put a down payment.
to put a down payment. Now, if there's a couple, two young people,
Yeah.
they get, now it's multiplied by 2, so $160,000. So this is a very, very efficient way to plan for your home purchase.
But this is only for the first-time home buyers.
Yes,
First time.
correct.
First time,
Correct.
yeah.
Correct. So now there are always caveats to these broad rules. It is for first-time home buyers, but with a first home savings account (FHSA), if you have purchased a home, but it's an investment property, and you haven't lived in it for the last 4 years, then you also qualify to contribute into a FHSA. But I don't want our conversation to get bogged down in the details.
Yeah.
It's just like, think of it this way, that we have a car, we can open the bonnet and look at the engine, right? But there are so many moving parts.
Yes.
So if you will allow me to just transition,
Yes.
segue
Yeah.
into the conversation about RRSPs.
Uh-huh.
So the deadline is February 29th.
Yes.
The maximum contribution for 2023 tax year is 18%. 18% has been pretty consistent. 18% of your earned income, and the maximum for 2023 is $30,780. So as an example, somebody has to be earning close to $200,000 a year to be able to contribute the maximum 30,000 plus the dollars.
Okay.
But let's just say if somebody's earned $50,000, they can contribute 18% of $50,000, which is a little shy of $10,000.
Okay.
So if you're in a position to contribute, I would strongly urge everyone to contribute. So the deadline is February 29th, and the maximums are 18% to a maximum of $30,780. And I would also encourage people to look at income splitting when they're contributing into an RRSP.
Okay.
So income splitting is it's a simple concept. Let's just say my wife is earning $50,000 a year,
Yeah.
and I'm earning $25,000 a year. Then my wife is the higher income earner. She would contribute. The contributor would be my wife, but the annuitant would be me. So that's a spousal contribution because the RRSP will be set up in my name.
Okay.
And the reason for that is that when the money is being contributed, you are saving taxes on the $50,000 income.
Yeah. Yeah.
But when the money is being withdrawn, you are taxed at the lower income of the working spouse. So my income is lower, so if we take that money out of that RRSP, then it's taxed on my income level. So that's income splitting. However, just one caveat, that there is an attribution rule. So you cannot take advantage of these rules just for a short period of time. So if my wife has made that contribution into a spousal plan, we cannot take the money out for 3 years.
Okay.
If we take the money out, if we withdraw the money within the 3 years, then it's taxable to her income.
Okay.
So Camilla,
So when can you start cashing that? When you reach 65 at the retirement age?
very good question. And there's a lot of confusion and misunderstanding surrounding the question of when can you take your money out. In fact, you can make withdrawals from your RRSP at any time. However, every time that you make a withdrawal, that amount gets added to your taxable income. So let's just say you're 50 years old. Your income that year is 50,000. And you've been contributing into an RRSP. And you decide, and you've accumulated $50,000 in your RRSP. And you decide to take $20,000 out. So now for that particular year, tax year, your income is 50,000 that you've earned through employment, and now $20,000 that you've taken out. So
Yeah.
your income is $70,000. So going back to your question, you can withdraw money from your RRSP at any time. However, you'll begin to see RRSPs becoming a part of your retirement income strategy, usually around age 65.
Okay.
However, Revenue Canada or CRA allows you to contribute into an RRSP until age 71,
Okay.
and you must collapse your RRSP at the end of age 71, and transition the RRSP into an income plan. So RRSP, it's a savings plan, but at age 71, it terminates, and now we've got to make it into an income plan. And that's where RIF comes into play. There's annuities as well, but registered retirement income fund, and that's when you start taking income out. And there are a lot of rules around that as well.
What so much information in such a short time.
Yes.
And the way you explained to me, I'm just starting to get it.
Yeah,
and
thank
I
you,
think
Camilla. If I may say one more thing, Camilla.
Yes.
And usually these discussions will prompt more questions.
Yes.
And that's how it should be.
Yeah.
Beneficiary designations are extremely important in any investment, whether it's a TFSA, whether it's an RRSP, or whether they are non-registered GIC accounts, etc. So let's just focus on RRSPs. With RRSPs, you must ensure that you have beneficiaries designated. And even better, if you can have a primary beneficiary as well as a contingent beneficiary. Because sometimes, if my wife is the primary beneficiary on my RRSP, and God forbid she predeceases me, then children can be contingent beneficiaries. So it's extremely important to appoint beneficiaries on your RRSPs, primary as well as contingent. Because if you don't, then all that money goes into probate. And that's a topic for another day.
Yes.
Right? But all I want to emphasize today is that please ensure that your RRSPs have beneficiary designations. Very important. Now, there are some key differences between RRSPs that are held with banks and RRSPs that are managed by insurance companies. Beneficiary designations with insurance companies are much more easier to handle than with banks, and there's also a fine legal difference between a successor annuitant and a beneficiary. So these are, I'm just throwing these terms out, so if for those who are listening, please make a note: successor annuitant, beneficiary. And if you have RRSPs, talk to your financial planner, talk to your insurance advisor, talk to your banker, and ask them these questions. And be sure that it's done correctly. All the I's need to be dotted, all the T's need to be crossed. Otherwise, it can be a messy situation. God forbid somebody passes away.
What is one last word of advice you want to give it to the people that are watching you today? I know we are running out of time, but one advice that people can walk away from our conversation today.
And Camilla, in your opening comments, you had already alluded to it, that times are tough, things are getting more expensive, and that seems to be the prognosis moving forward. It's not going to get cheaper. Cost of borrowing is higher.
Yes.
So the last piece of advice is that live within your means. Please put some money aside for your future. It's very important. The government is giving us all of these tools to take advantage of. So please, if not all, take advantage of the tools that are most pertinent to your situation and contribute the maximum that you can budget. So my advice is live within your means, save some money, and eliminate or reduce or stay away from bad debt. Bad debt is credit cards,
Yes.
buying cars that you can't afford, taking vacations and trips that you can't afford.
Yeah.
Things of that type, Camilla.
Thank you so much.
My pleasure. Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you, sponsors. So if you would like to be a sponsor and provide sponsorship to one or all the programs, then get in touch with Camila Singh by calling 604-537-5123. Time for the upcoming announcements. HSBC Canada Sevens is a 3-day international rugby tournament that is being hosted on February 23rd, 24th and 25th at BC Place in Vancouver. It is for the second consecutive year that both men and women competition will be held on the same tournament weekend, bringing 24 teams. So, for more information, contact info@rugbybc.ca. And you can also call 604-355-5330. PIC's Mega Job Fair is coming up on February 22nd at the Italian Cultural Center in Vancouver. Over 1,000 people come to the PIC's Mega Job Fair each and every year to get their resumes ready for the new opportunities. So come and meet the employers out there. You can call PICS at 604-596-7722. PICS is having a fundraising gala which is taking place on April 12th at Fraserview Banquet Hall in Vancouver. This will be the largest fundraiser for Guru Nanak Diversity Village, which is a long-term care home for seniors. Keynote speakers will be Premier David Evie, ex-NDP Premier Glenn Clark. So for information, contact PICS at 604-596-7722. Fiji in Focus and Bula Beats TV, in partnership with Angel Music Production, are doing a fundraising for Surrey Food Bank because hunger is not seasonal. They are serving over 1,800 hampers per month in Surrey. So this event is taking place on April 13th at Taj Park Convention Center in Surrey. For tickets and sponsorships, you can call Sarah Sharma at 604-992-7253, Mike Singh at 604-818-9405. If you are organizing any event in your community and you want us to promote it for you, please email us at asianpulse@gmail.com. We have ran out of time now, but I hope you have enjoyed the show as much as I have enjoyed hosting it for you. If you have missed it, you can always tune in to Shaw Cable Network every Wednesday at 1:30 p.m., Thursday at 8:30 p.m., and Saturdays at 5:30 p.m. All of our shows are also broadcasted in Calgary on Channel 10 on Shaw Cable Network, as well as they're uploaded on our YouTube channel under Kamila Singh's name. Before I leave, I want to leave you with these thoughts. Never be ashamed of the work that puts food on your table. A small salary is better than waiting for someone else to give you that money. Author is unknown, but I enjoyed hosting this event for you. I will hope to see you next week. Have a great day. I'm your host, Manbir Randhawa.